So I guess what we brought today is 4 levels from the demo that you can send that we have out on the show floor. And then additionally, I brought the entire build with us, so we can dig into ladder levels and see the real crazy mechanics that come in later.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So maybe we'll Chris place for just a moment. I'll give just a quick summary rundown.
Yeah, I've just got.
Please, yeah,
I'm not going to ask all these. You know, they're just thoughts, really. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself, sure. Well, my name's Danny Garfield. I guess I am the programmer and designer and level designer for Concursion. Working at Poobah, working at being a loose term. Poobah is really a team of 3 of us working out of my home. Mm-hmm. And so, about me, I guess about a year ago, I was working a full-time job doing Hollywood studio post-production work. Really enjoyed it, really enjoyed the people, really enjoyed the company, but really wanted to make an original IP, something of my own, a big, lengthy, bizarre project.
Sure.
And wanted something that I could kind of have create a final cut on. And so, yeah, recruited a friend of mine who worked with me at the time, and then eventually another, and started a company, which is, again, loose term. We made Concursion.
Yeah, brilliant. This is your first game?
It is my first game as a standalone developer. As a part of my own company, yeah. I've got a handful of licensed games, small games based on theatrical films, things like that are in the market, but wouldn't have my name attached.
Yeah. Where did the concept come from?
I suppose it came from experimental gameplay. You know, a game like Braid, I love. I'm jealous that I never made that game. It's brilliant. And so really I wanted to see what could be done within the platformer paradigm at kind of a high speed, at kind of a reasonable difficulty level, that hadn't been done, and turn it on its head a bit. For me, it wasn't so much about making kind of a grab bag of all these games, but in kind of exploring what you could do when all the games come together. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of the most important or most interesting part of Concursion for me is the borders, and like what you can do as you cross them.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I feel it had a real old school difficulty to it.
Yeah.
As in difficult. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not an easy game whatsoever. I found when I played on it, especially this level actually, it's just really trial and error.
Okay.
To try to figure out as it goes along.
I should caveat that in genuine play, in the game proper, this is level 15 or so. Oh, and so you'd have quite a bit of tutorial under your belt. There would be no real confusion as to regard to how the shifting and mechanics work, which is actually we found difficulty here. It's kind of the big question is, how do we show off the complexity of mechanics while not just dumping someone in the deep end?
Yeah, sure, of course.
And so, these levels are all from actually Act 2 of our game. 70 games, or roughly 70 levels altogether, and these are like levels 14, 15, 17, and 20, I think.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. Although it's difficult, it's still light-hearted enough. It's very colourful. There's a cheer in the background, so it doesn't feel terribly frustrating really to play through. I died a lot, totally, but it didn't annoy me to a point where I just forget it. Right. Throw my rage quit. So yeah, it was. I mean, was that part of the development to try to keep it light-hearted enough?
It is, especially like our plot's really goony on purpose. It's silly. All the dialogue is kind of jokey and lighthearted. The character's lighthearted. Yeah, for me, I mean, like if I were to write something, it would be ridiculous and silly. And so I really kind of wanted to pick up the flavor or the attitude of the dev team of all of us, which is just we sing in the middle of the day while we're working. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And I didn't feel that the difficult nature of the game had to mean that we were like dark and intimidating.
Yeah. Also, as the genres were switching, so did the music.
Yes.
That was a nice touch, I thought.
Thank you.
Because you could have just had the same tune all the way through.
Oh, absolutely. It's actually a good friend of mine, Christopher Hogue, is an Emmy-nominated composer, actually. And I just have the great luck of being good friends with him. And so he's actually composed an entirely original 30-song soundtrack for the game.
Oh.
And the vast majority of that soundtrack is completely reorchestrated and reperformed 5 times over again for each of the 5 playable styles in, like I said, dramatically different styles. It's kind of Saturday morning cartoon for our platformer. It's guitar-driven rock for our ninja game, electronica, retro chiptune, ambient music. And exactly as you said, the further or closer you get to each of these dimensions, they kind of start to crossfade into each other and mix up and eventually change over based on your current dimension. And yeah, I kind of just brought Chris that idea. And man, I don't know where I would have gone if not for Chris. Chris is an amazing composer, but beyond that, like such a weird challenge to bring to a composer.
Yeah, I'm sure, absolutely. I felt like I had to recalibrate my brain really playing this game because, of course, we all play platform games to death, really. But this isn't just playing platform games anymore, is it? It's a sudden changes in style.
Yeah.
And you suddenly have to take a step back and think, oh, need to go into this mode now.
Right.
And then suddenly switches into Pac-Man mode. And then back into
often in extremely rapid succession, just enough time to get a double jump.
Yeah. So you really had to be quick on your feet, just constantly adapting your own style. I like that a lot about that.
Thank you.
But although it's a mashup of a lot of genres, it's kind of taken its own identity.
That's my hope. Thanks. I appreciate that comment. Yeah, the idea was very intentionally to build 5 kind of clean, pure, simple, pristine games. Something that like you didn't have to tutorialize too much, because the idea of having like an opening act 5 times over for 5 different modes of play is daunting. I think even to a player would get boring. And so we really wanted to keep things really simple, just 2 buttons and a D-pad. It's the A button, B button, D-pad. I at home, very honestly, I brought it. I did it on my old NES controller. Just plug it to USB and go. And so I think also because there is so much complexity when these dimensions come together, it's really important that you not have to figure out 6 button mappings, and what they all might do. But in fact, just the question is, what do these 2 buttons do? And finding kind of equivalencies that work neatly between them. Run is slash, but it works, it makes sense. Jump is the same as, jetpack throws.
Yes. But the genres, they were, for lack of a better word, they were like the old school type games anyway. Mario's, R-Type,
Absolutely.
Pac-Man. But does this mean the game will only appeal to old school gamers, really? The hardcore gamer crowd?
I don't think so. I mean, the game is undeniably a bit hardcore. I mean, the game is tough. It's got hard points quite intentionally, and it's conceptually difficult for sure. If you're looking for an extremely casual game to hop into for just a couple minutes, it's not ideal. No dancing around it. But I think the appeal probably goes beyond retro in that it is doing something kind of very new. For me, like I said, I play a lot of video games. I want to see how they work. I'm just really intrigued in gameplay. And so I think the retro nature allows for kind of an easier access to what might otherwise be a really difficult to access game. And so I actually think it's a nice blend. It feels modern holistically to me because it's so responsive and fast and bizarre.
Yes.
And the retro for me is kind of just a foothold in. We don't have to necessarily teach you anything about the glasses. We don't have to necessarily teach you the early steps because we can kind of presume you know them.
Yes.
Let's say you might want to switch to the other one now.
Full show some secret.
Show off some of the stuff you haven't seen yet as well.
Oh wow, okay.
Secret content. Yeah, we just brought the entire build. You want to take it? I can take it and keep chatting about it.
Oh wow, okay. So there's a world map that we can select.
Definitely.
I like the amusing titles. There is a sense of humor in this game.
There is.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the cutscenes are really goofy. Dark Lord Big and Bad, who's kidnapped the princess at the start of the game, he just rambles and pontificates. He's loaded with puns and things. One of our bosses, actually, of Act 4, has literally. So the story of the game is something has happened here. Something has caused all of these game worlds to be smashed together and they're tearing apart. And it seems like the world is tearing apart at the seams, really. And we kind of get into that, but somehow that's connected to the idea that, in fact, the princess has been kidnapped yet again by Dark Lord Big and Bad. And these gems are also scattered all across the world that we're collecting as the game goes on. Somehow that seems to be connected. Kind of all these disparate plot threads get woven together.
Yes.
But rambled off point, but yeah, like our 4th boss seems to be in love with its shard. Stroking it gently, cradling it.
Am I right in thinking that this is Java?
It is Java.
Yeah. A lot of the indie games program using Unity.
Mm-hmm.
And although Unity is this amazing tool,
Sure.
don't get me wrong, but you can spot a Unity game from a mile,
Pretty frequently.
really. So it's quite nice seeing that there's something else out there.
Yeah. I looked at Unity, I looked at a handful of other suites, and in the end I just really wanted kind of direct control on exactly how everything works.
Mhm.
Like, Unity's an amazing out-of-the-box solution, I have nothing whatsoever against it.
No.
But for this particular premise of kind of geographically dividing which physics apply to which creatures and things like that, I'm sure it must be doable. I can't say that it isn't. But for me, because I did just want to dive in and go,
Mhm.
I knew it's something I could build relatively quickly, relatively speaking.
Sure.
And so I guess it was just a matter of more faith in me figuring it out than necessarily wanting to figure out a box trick.
And just the thought of having a Java game is old school in itself.
I know, right?
Yeah. So how has the development been going? You said there's only a 3-man team.
It is.
I mean, it must be a lot of work.
It's a fair bit of work, yeah. I mean, we're working out of my home, just across from my bedroom, so the hours are long. I mean, it's quite good that they work out of my office and kind of have proper hours, because if they didn't, I'm not sure I'd have proper hours.
Sure.
But yeah, by and large, wake up in the morning, work until bedtime. In the weekend, I pop across to the office a dozen times just because I have an idea or something, a quick fix. It's been good though, it's been fun. Like, I've always worked really long hours in previous employment and it just doesn't bug me. So the idea of doing it on my own project, it's something I really believe in, something that I really enjoy. I have only good things to say about it. It's a lot of coding, but I really enjoy coding. Like, that's what I would spend my day tinkering with if I weren't doing it professionally.
Sure.
Quotes professionally. Yeah, no, it's only good things to say. It's been stressful at times. It's self-funded from my own pocket, and so, the idea of colossally failing is totally on the table. There's no reason to believe like this is good, so people will like it.
Sure.
No, I mean, there's every chance that we get out there and that doesn't happen. But I really believe in it. I really enjoy it, and I think that there's a fair number of people who also really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of have faith and roll on.
What did you find the most difficulty in?
Honestly, for me, one of the big difficulties is sort of art direction. I'm a terrible artist, but the art team I've been working with is I think, quite good. I really lucky to have Jeff Troop, just like my name, but quite lucky to have him who could kind of take those ridiculous ideas, sketch with me. This? Yes, my stick figure was bad. Thank you for that.
Do you have any funny stories?
Any funny stories? The dance is based on a video that I sent to Jeff. I described several times, and I was like, no, he's celebrating. Like, we want ridiculous. It needs to be like disco-y, and so I came and I sent him a video of myself dancing.
So when you complete a level, that is actually you dancing?
Yes,
Wow.
it is. It's an artist rendition of my dancing. I didn't do it as well. I didn't wear the same clothes either.
How has the reaction been to your game? Have you had any feedback from the floor?
Quite a lot, yeah. We've been staying pretty busy all day, which is great. I think the reaction is what I want it to be. It's a great deal of I have no idea what's going on. It's just staring at the game going, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a learning curve to it. People absolutely, especially because we're throwing them in the deep end back too. They die a couple times,
Sure.
they shift a couple times, and then it kind of comes together and goes, okay, I see the potential here. I think it takes a moment of tinkering, a moment of play to really realize the full potential of what's possible in the game. But I think it's quite joyful once you get it.
Is anything on the floor catch your eye?
Anything on the floor? Yeah, a couple. Can I say it by name? I'll throw some out. I really enjoyed. I can't. Okay, then yes, something's got my eye.
Okay, I didn't realise you couldn't say.
No, I thought you had said I could.
No.
Oh yeah, 10-second Ninja I really enjoyed. It's kind of a
Yeah,
quick
I've
dive
played
into
that,
it. Yeah. Overruled I played for a little bit. I had quite a lot of fun with that. Definitely our stallmates, our booth mates. Tiny Keep, really fun. Game based seems really cool. Yeah, quite a lot of good stuff. I'm really pleased. I haven't had quite enough time to explore the whole floor yet. I keep popping out when I can.
Same problem we have, really. It's kind of picking out the things you want to see the most.
Right.
Yeah. Some lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, the big games and small games.
Yeah, no, we're in great
interesting.
company. I walked in on Friday morning when we arrived, kind of just looked around and was like, okay, we can do this. I like my game too, so let's do this.
I understand Concursion just got green lit.
Well, we just went to the greenlight process.
Okay.
We just submitted just 4 or 5 days ago
Mhm.
to the greenlight process. And so that's, you asked how it was working alone. I mentioned a little stressful. Greenlight's a big thing for us. You know,
Yes, absolutely.
I wouldn't say it's make or break per se, but a lot of my energy, and especially my mental energy, is focused on making that work right now.
Yes.
It's going well, but I think we need to, keep it up. The biggest thing we need is kind of spread word. I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a dev guy and a nerd, and just looking for ways to kind of alert people to the game's existence.
Yeah, and of course we'll do as much as we can for you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, the website gets we get a lot of attention on our website, so hopefully people will start finding out about this.
Fantastic.
I mean, are you planning to release any kind of demos or anything from it?
I'm actually. What we're thinking right now is releasing essentially the demo that you have. So I'll say it in such a way since I think it's being filmed. We're thinking about releasing a 4-level demo that includes a handful of levels from our second act.
Yes.
It's a bit of a dense startup, and I think we're going to add a few more checkpoints just for the purpose of the demo beyond what's currently there.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. But I think we're only a few weeks out from that.
Wow.
So really excited for the world at large to experience Concursion.
Yeah, wow, I can't wait to see that. I think that'll work really, really well in your favour.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's a bite-sized game,
Mm-hmm.
so people can just pick it up, play a couple levels.
Yeah.
Probably get angry.
Yeah. Throw the control.
What's your favourite game of all time?
Ooh, my favorite game of all time.
That's a good one.
I'm a giant fan of JRPGs, so like Final Fantasy VI or 4 might be the one that I've absolutely just played the most times, like an astonishing, shameful number of times. I love Super Meat Boy. I think it handles just so gracefully. I think it works great. And actually, the most recent Mario game, not 3D Land, but the Wii U launch game, I thought handled great. I thought it had a really good balance of difficulty. It just felt really graceful, really tight. Really enjoyed that. Retro game I go back and play the most, Super Dodgeball for NES. I for some reason just pull it out every few months. Right?
Yeah. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I remember I was addicted to that game when I first played it. When I was like 10 years old.
I'm
still playing. Yeah.
It's how you settle arguments, right?
That's right. Yeah. If you had all the resources in the world, what kind of game would you make?
I don't know that it would be dramatically different. My passion's really in just experimenting on kind of new, innovative things. I absolutely play a ton of AAAs. I'm in the middle of Infamous. I'm in the middle of Batman Arkham Origins, and also in the middle of Final Fantasy 13-3. But my particular passion isn't for big, beautiful graphics. I absolutely appreciate them. They're great. But it's not where my brain goes first when I'm brainstorming game ideas. Like really for me, it starts from the gameplay, from mechanics, and evolves outward from there.
Yes.
And so, honestly, I'm quite happy with like the length of this. Even 70 odd levels is a pretty meaty game for this. It'd be the same vein. I would love to in the future, have an art team work a little bit even more closely with us. So I'd love to have like a proper in-house art team, which we weren't able to do here. But honestly, I'm working with a lot of really close friends on something really fun. It's kind of exactly what I wanted my first game to be.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Interesting in the games that you brought up. I'm currently halfway through Infamous myself. It took me a while to get into the new Infamous, but actually now that I do it, it might be my favourite Infamous yet. Actually. Yeah,
I really enjoyed the first and second ones.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like a secret superhero origin story. You don't see it coming, and by the end, you're just looking back on it like a great comic book origin story.
Yeah.
And so I kind of hit the midpoint here, and at first I was kind of bemoaning the fact that didn't exist. But then the gameplay's so fun.
Absolutely. But I really do not like the Final Fantasy 13. Any of them.
I find it super stressful because of the timer. From the very beginning, the mechanic chronostasis, he freezes the timer so that it doesn't advance, and you can constantly changing it, killing every random encounter so I can just change. Like, I think I finished all the main quests now, but I haven't finished the game proper. And I'm only on day 4, so you can see I've just been freezing the clock every 2 seconds. And I find it, as a completionist, just stressful. Like, I don't like the idea that I could beat it and time runs out without having done the rest.
At the same time, I'm playing the Final Fantasy X remastered. HD remastered. And I forgot just how much.
It's so good. Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, I think when I was done on that, it was 120 hours.
Yes, easily 80 minimum. And Really
all the
love that
monster
game.
breeding, all the Coliseum stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got anything else, we're going to have to leave it to one question. Sorry.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
I think I'd like to add. I don't know, like we covered everything. I suppose Final Fantasy. Yeah, I mean, we love people stuff on Greenlight. Greenlight is, like I said, really just kind of my focus right now. Finishing the game is a big part of it, but like I said, it's not necessarily make or break, but I think it's a major part of us being able to make a second game. You know, and so like our plan is finish this one up, start on brainstorming the next one. Got a handful of ideas. I think I know what direction we're going in, but I know the gents I work with are going to want to tear it apart and figure out as well. So we're going to be diving into the next one, but Greenlight will probably play a major factor in whether we're able.
Sure. And anything you ever want getting out there, honestly, just drop us a line.
Sure.
No worries. Yeah.
Details, and we'll spread it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Cheers.